summer here in Clemson, South Carolina. We're all looking forward to getting this thing kicked off. We'll start wherever you guys want.
Coach, what were some of your biggest takeaways from the spring?
Yeah, really proud of how hard our guys obviously worked, and just excited about the experience, the leadership, the maturity. I think all three levels of our defense has really great leadership, really solid veteran experience. And that's the thing that I really noticed. Guys pouring into younger guys, showing them the ropes, and just a lot more maturity and leadership this spring.
I think you just missed Christian Wilkins' freshman year in 2015.
Definitely.
But is Peter Woods getting some very similar comparisons, just like with his intangibles and leadership qualities and readiness to play right away?
Yeah, most definitely. He came in. I mean, his strength numbers are unreal. Just the power, the explosiveness, but most importantly, just a great young man. Just really fits our culture here and what we're about, and really excited to see him this fall.
You spoke about the maturity of the team. Is there anything you can speak on, just like the wellness of your coaching staff and team going into the season, just revamping over the summer?
Yeah, we got obviously just starting up front. A lot of guys coming back that could be at the next level. From Tyler and Rook. Inside, those guys are solid. They bring it every day. They're pros, so they really set the example of what it looks like and what it takes to be successful at a high level. And then on the edge, XT and Maskell coming back. I feel like they're both in different spots than they have been in the past. Just they're growing up and maturing, and have really had a great off season. And then, my room with Barrett and Trotter, they set the tone. They're all about their business every day, and they're really fun to coach. And then go back to the back end, Sheridan and Jalen Phillips. They could have been going as well, and just the veteran presences that they have in those rooms. Along with numerous other guys, that aren't seniors necessarily, but bring a lot of wealth of experience and leadership as well.
What's your evaluation of Mukuba? Has he shown what y'all wanted to see this offseason as a whole, and sort of mentally the way y'all wanted to?
Yeah, definitely. Really excited to with where he's at. Really matured, has grown up, gotten healthy. First and foremost, I feel like he was broken down last year, and really sacrificed himself last year for the greater good of the team. But he had a tremendous spring. He's added weight and mass, strength, and just overall knowledge of the scheme and ability to play multiple positions, and has really had a solid offseason.
Your first full season as defensive coordinator, what were some of the things you learned about yourself from yourself scouting in the offseason?
Yeah, you look back and evaluate everything. This position to grind you up from numerous different ways, just from being a husband and father at home, dealing with all the stresses that come with being in this position. And then just looking back, I've grown as a teacher, teaching our scheme and relating to the players, and what it takes every day to prepare my guys to perform at a high level. And then just overall defensively, just adjustment-wise, how to handle things in game, what a typical game week looks like for me. I'm very comfortable in that process now, and just from a practice standpoint, how to drill fundamental football. I've grown tremendously in that aspect as well. So I'm super excited for year two. Feel really confident in where I'm at personally.
Was there a steep learning curve when you talk about in-game adjustments and going on the fly? Was there a gradual thing, or was there a point at which you felt like now the light bulb was coming on for me?
Yeah, I felt like even the Iowa State game, my first game, I felt like I had a good grasp, but it's a lot different being a guy that makes suggestions versus the guy that has to make the decisions and go with it, and just having that confidence, in your ability to make the right decisions, but then also have the confidence to look into your players and make those adjustments on the sideline and instill that confidence in them.
Wes, you mentioned teaching, and I was formerly a high school teacher, and I had to learn how to motivate different kids in the class. Can you speak to those challenges as a teacher in terms of the buttons for one player might not be the same for another? How do you manage that?
Yeah, most definitely. I think first and foremost, you have to know your players, and and that goes above and beyond just in the meeting rooms. You got to get to know their personalities and how they learn. Are they visual learners? Do they learn by doing it in practice? The reps, the walkthroughs, the individual, the practice reps against the offense. So I think first and foremost, you just have to know your players, and then figure out a way to get them to learn and process that information. It's a lot coming at them in a short amount of time, from getting the call, knowing the down and distance, the field position, what the offense's personnel is, then taking a look at the formation, and then obviously motions and adjustments and making the right checks or whatever. So it's a lot to process, but just helping them manage that, and then helping them also manage the stress, and just having the confidence to have the knowledge to do all of that. And it's a process, but I'm a big believer in you have to know your personnel.
Wes, you talked about Trotter and Carter a little bit, but they've been known as like kind of a duo, the heart of this defense. What makes them so special as a pair?
Yeah, they're both unbelievable young men, just really high character. They both come in every day with the right mindset of getting better and great families, both of them. They do everything the right way. In the classroom, in this building, they put in extra time. And then obviously their athleticism and athletic ability speaks for itself. Just the ability to process things fast, their football knowledge, obviously they're athletic, super instinctual. I mean, you could sit here and talk for hours on those two guys, and I'm thankful I get to coach them every day.
Those guys are going to get all the preseason accolades, but what about Wade Woodaz? He had an auspicious debut last season.
Yeah.
Is he a name people will learn pretty quick this year?
I hope so. Wade's had a tremendous offseason, really added weight, changing his body daily, and just he's in that same category, great family, really smart, loves it. He's a grinder. He works at it, extremely knowledgeable. His skill set, he can do a lot of things. He's long, athletic, can run, physical, and just a tough kid. And I'm excited to see him this fall as well.
Wes, what's your level of concern as far as defensive end from an experience standpoint for you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously getting the XT and Maskell back helps tremendously from that standpoint, and I feel like they're in really good spots. But after that, it's kind of improving, like a lot of positions last year, but it's just something that you always have to deal with in the game of football, whether you're at this level, the NFL level, high school, whatever, you're always going to have some transition in spots. But I'm excited to see, Cade get his opportunity. Zaire, needs to continue to grow as well. And obviously getting those freshmen in, TJ, him coming in the spring obviously helps him, but I think AJ and David will have a good camp, and excited to see where they're at from a knowledge standpoint and technique-wise. But I feel confident in XT and Maskell, and excited about those other guys to get their opportunity.
Is there somebody that maybe stood out in the spring or maybe here this summer you've heard that's kind of maybe we're not thinking about that could surprise us?
I mean, obviously, and then after those guys, then you got Armand Mason and Jaheim Lawson. They continue to grow in the weight room and continue to grow their knowledge standpoint. And, we'll see where they're at when we get started in August.
Wes, what did you like about what your defense did last year, and what are some things you said, well, you know what, we could do a little bit better coming into 2024?
Yeah, they gave it everything every day. It was a huge roller coaster last year from emotions and just challenges, injuries, guys playing banged up, really proud of the way that they showed grit, determination, and hey, we're going to lay it on the line every day. And, a lot of challenges from injuries, dealing with stuff off the field. Obviously, me being a first-year coordinator, inexperience in the back seven, but really proud of the way that those guys really fought and gave it everything they got.
Do you think that they can build on that effort last year to kind of even take it to a different level?
Most definitely. Everybody has a chip on their shoulder, and really this offseason have been showing that every day.
You could point to the biggest difference between going into this season and last season. I guess it would have to be the secondary, the no-brainer, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
You look at a guy like Nate Wiggins and his struggles early last season, and now he's finishes the season, the ACC championship he had.
Yeah, definitely. That was cool to see, go from Wake Forest to that game, and just it was an upward trend, and really cool to see.
Wes, when you have so many versatile guys at all three levels, how do you balance the benefits of that, moving them around, with making things simple enough to let them just sort of play fast?
Yeah, definitely. When you have guys that you can move around, obviously that helps from an injury standpoint because, long season, obviously guys are going to be in and out of the lineup, so you have to move pieces around. But then you also, there's a fine line where you can't move guys around enough that they don't really get good at one position. So we'll hopefully find out early what our best combination of guys are back there, and then obviously you move guys around and work them in different spots just to get them confidence in those different positions and stuff. But I think it's important that you create continuity, create chemistry, create confidence in guys playing side by side, and not create a bunch of different variables from that standpoint, if that answered.
I guess coming out of the spring, you talked about turnovers being an emphasis for the support. Why was that something back in last season?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly where we finished turnover margin-wise, but turnovers win games, wins championships, creates big momentum, creates big plays in games. You never know when they're going to happen, but they make a huge difference. And you get what you emphasize. And I feel like this spring we really emphasize creating turnovers, a lot of different things, but that was one major emphasis. Hey, if we can steal a possession, and set our offense up for success, that's huge. And in the grand scheme of things, so just another thing to emphasize.
Just the mentality, or the things you can actually practice to get knowledge.
It's both. You can grade guys. Hey, taking shots on balls. Whether it's a offensive guy running down the field and you see defenders trying to punch and strip the ball. It just becomes muscle memory and habit, and just a different way to teach and emphasize.
Where do you see Barnes and Lewis fitting in with some positions that are pretty deep?
Yeah, definitely. I think they have a chance to challenge for opportunity. Khalil came in, I would say well beyond his years a little bit. Should have been going to the prom in the spring, but he's out here intercepting passes in the spring game. So really cool to see where he's at. Always has a smile on his face. Just a great kid who really fits us. Credit to his high school coaches. He came in, had a great knowledge standpoint. Technique has been superb for a young guy, and just excited to see him challenge for opportunity. Whether that's playing 25 plays on special teams or getting in the rotation at nickel, safety, whatever it is, I think he's got a chance to challenge for those opportunities. And then same thing with Shelton, super competitive kid, all about his business, shows up with the right mindset, and just fighting for opportunity like everyone else. And we'll see how it all shakes out in August. But those two definitely have an opportunity to challenge.
that actually look like to any other coaches that you know get feedback, just watch film yourself over and over, like what does it actually look like?
Yeah, a lot of different things. You know, I got a circle of friends that are coordinators at different spots that I rely on. I talk to maybe once or twice a week or whatever, just bounce ideas or, you know, how can I get better in this area? And then obviously watching a ton of film. You know, even now I'll go back and throw on games from last year and just watch the flow of the game and the adjustments and that sort of thing. And then just obviously being out on the road recruiting, get a lot of time to yourself, whether that's driving in a car or a late night at a hotel or whatever, just a lot of time, you know, to yourself to think about different things and write down. You know, I keep a journal on my iPad basically and just write down things, how I would have did things different, or maybe, hey, I like how this is or whatever, I wouldn't change this at all. But just a lot of different ways to self-reflect and grow.
This time last year, did you have a proper grasp of that idea that you're talking about, or the fact that you're talking about? You could only learn some of these things through doing it.
Oh,
the lights are on.
Yeah, definitely.
You did, so you had a.
Yeah, I had no idea, like something.
Did not.
Yeah, like until you're thrown in the fire, you don't necessarily know. So it's definitely a learning experience every day.
I guess in terms of you now have 2 spring players and the season, like what are the things that you do now that didn't quite that kind of in terms of how you're going to shape the defense, how you're going to teach them?
Yeah, I guess just looking at things from a big picture perspective, you know, of whether it's drilling fundamental football, just emphasizing certain things like the turnovers, how to, you know, just the confidence that it takes to get up in front of the guys every day. You know, even dealing with you guys, I feel like going back, I've grown tremendously in that area. And so I'm excited about year 2.